Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am your host, Elder Vanessa Brown, and welcome to Stimulation to Success Ministries this morning. Happy Sunday. I hope everyone is doing well today. And today is the day that the Lord has made, and He's given me a word for those of you standing in the gap for others. I have been doing this quite some time, not just for people that I'm directly involved with, but people that ask for prayer, or if the Lord places someone on my spirit. So if you're one of those type of people, this is your message today. So again, welcome. I am your host, Elder Vanessa Brown. Thank you again for joining us. Stimulation to Success Ministry. So I have a brief testimony that I'm going to share today. It's a little bit different. But it's basically regarding some family members that I have been in prayer for a long time, that God gave me a revelation on the process of when you're standing in the gap for someone. He brought it to my remembrance. And so it goes a little something like this. So I've been praying for a long time for, like I said, a couple of family members, and God would show up, and deliver them, and ensure that all of my family is saved, and all of us believe in God and walking out our soul salvation, right? So praying for others, two things. They have their own will, right? And we don't want to be praying our will for other people. And so that's what God showed me within this, making sure that what we're praying for someone, that they're also in agreement with, which makes a lot of sense. Otherwise, it's like we're trying to force our will on someone else, right? And we definitely don't want to be in that lane. So what I learned out of this is you cannot pray, right, for your friends and family into a better place, if that's not something that they are willing to sacrifice to get to, or if that's not what's on their mind, or that's not their goals. So when you're praying for someone, now I take it really seriously when I do get prayer requests, or if someone asks me, because I want to make sure that we're both in agreement, that we're both on the same page, that we're praying the same things, and we're not praying and canceling out each other's prayers, right? So you want to make sure when you're praying for someone that it's what they desire. You hear me? Pray for God's will. That's the safest place, I believe, for those that intercede, praying for God's will. So see, we cannot pray our will for others, right? No, every person has free will, and our will is not God's will. I'm going to say that again. All the time, our will is not God's will. Okay? So God is the owner of our salvation, our commander. Okay? And our command is to love one another. God didn't say, love people if they do what you ask them to do. God didn't say that. He didn't say love people as long as they agree with you. Oh, he didn't say that just pray for people that support you. He didn't say that either. So all I'm saying is, y'all, to be the hands and feet of Jesus, we have to have his same personality on love, and understanding that we might want something better for someone, but they have to want it first. They have to want it more than we want it for them, right? So that's just one thing here that I wanted to point out on this webcast. Now, I know this is to be true because of the family members I was praying with had shared with me something that helped me to get this revelation. And so he shared, and she shared with something with me that woke me up from feeling sorry for them, right? Or thinking, why don't they try to do things a little bit differently? Wouldn't it be better? Whose eyes am I watching through? Is it really their eyes, their eyes of life? Or is it through my lens that I'm trying to correct them? So, um, so they told me, recently, the family members that I'm speaking of, that they live how they want to live. They specifically wrote that out. This is after I had been in prayer for months. They said they live how they want to live because they choose to. We all have a choice. So we may want the world for someone, but remember, it is free will. And then when you specifically have the people that you're praying for tell you, it's not a mistake how I'm living, this is how I choose to live, you really have to turn that over to God. You have to turn it over to God, and you have to believe that God can help them. He's the only one. Okay, he's the only one that can help redirect things that they are saying, that they feel like that's how they should live. They feel like that I choose this way. And even explain to me that they still believe in God, even though they know the way that they take may not be the best way. That's what they choose. So today's message is be careful when interceding to make sure that the prayer is God's will. Now, I identified that it can be witchcraft or religion when praying our will over somebody's life. So it could lead into that. It could be on that borderline. At least that's what I've been given. So we don't want to be out there just being, religious or methodology or because it sounds good. So also to want something for someone that did not want to live the way you prayed for God to have them to live. You ask God to help them, whether it was through intercessory for the change of their lifestyle or the inward perception that they may have upon themselves. Religion and witchcraft spirits choke the life out of the believers. Sometimes it's indirectly. I've learned that over the years. People will try to put those type of spirits or infiltrate those type of spirits, and those spirits will choke the power out of the church. So now my prayer for those same beautiful family members is that God's will for their life, not my will for their life, God's will for their life, and that God will keep and protect them. So my message today simply was, don't stop interceding, but just make sure it's God's will and not your will for someone else's life and not what you think is best. Because we get into the borderline of taking someone's free will. And even if us taking their free will or trying to not necessarily